My God, I just found the most interesting question. And on Reddit, nevertheless. So, what modern woke trope do you hate the most? Now, it depends what we're talking about. If we're actually talking about real life, then I really hate the trope where they say you can't be racist towards white people because it implies that we could actually have a society where no one is racist. So I'm not racist, you're not racist, there's no racism. But that's not what they want. They're basically admitting that it is impossible for them not to be racist. They unironically cannot help themselves. They need this in their life, and they just want to be racist towards people that is socially acceptable and there is no consequence against them. And they can't even imagine a world where they would have to be under the same umbrella of rules of anti-racism that they are tailoring for other individuals. And usually the tailoring that they create is not because the other individuals are doing anything, it's because their ancestors have done something. So now there is blood guilt on them. So even if the people that are alive today are decent people, the individual thinks that it's okay for him to be vicious and malicious and disgusting towards all those people because they can't fight back. So that would be the worst trope that I can think of. And usually these individuals are just using a cope. It's like, oh, I can be racist towards white people because. But if you actually go on their timeline and you actually look at their chat history, they're also usually racist towards Asians. They're usually racist towards other people. So again, like racism defines them as a person. But they're using the ideology in order to keep bullying other people because they love moral busybodying. Most of the time, they're talentless people. They do not have any level of skill. So by bringing others down, they bring themselves up. Now, if it comes to fiction, so it's not real people, but if you have a woke production, which elements do I hate the most? I mean, there are a lot of them. I think the one that I hate the most, and I'm actually glad that it's there, has to be the aesthetics. Now, when you're thinking about a visual medium, whether it's a video game, a comic book, a movie, the aesthetics are actually important. They are part of the dish. Even if you have the best steak in the world, if the seasoning is utter shit, then it ruins the dish. So the seasoning is important, and the woke, they are trying to make the most unattractive women ever imaginable. In fact, they are so unattractive that even the woke don't call them women anymore, they call them body type B. Now, you guys know, the strong jawlines, the broad shoulders, removal of breasts, removal of hips, removal of anything that has to do with femininity. Dressing them all the way up, like making absolutely sure that no heteronormative man will find the character remotely appealing. And it's so bad that if you actually talk with artists that work at these companies, they will say that their concept art has nothing to do with the final product. So they're giving away, like, this is the concept art, this is how I want this character to be like, and the company changes into something completely unrecognizable, completely unappealing. Now, I actually love this, because the whole effort of the woke ideologues is not to make a good video game, is not to make a good comic book or a TV show, but is to spread the message. So if the aesthetics were actually appealing, then the message would be spread to a lot more people. The communists actually used to do this. Like, the aesthetics under communism were spot on. If you look at the communist worker, he was a strong individual. The woman had big fat tits. Like, people wanted to have that woman. And in order to have that woman, you had to be a good communist. This is what America did when they tried to recruit pilots for World War II, when they tried to draft people in the military. They would have like a sexy lady on that airplane, or they would have like a sexy lady in a poster that had big fat tits. And it was like, okay, you want this lady? Go join the military because this lady likes a soldier. So using femininity in order to appeal to men is a tried and true historical tactic. Many nations do it around the world. But the woke self-sabotage themselves, which is a good thing because, again, I want them to fail. I disagree with the message. I hate the people pushing the message. There's nothing beautiful or wholesome. The promise that they're spewing, which is like a world without racism, doesn't seem to be happening. Like, the woke have been in charge of culture for years now. Things are getting worse rather than better. I do not like anything about their ideology. I do not see the merit. I do not like anyone that wants to defend woke ideology. Please show me the merit. Please show me it's like, okay, well, this company went woke, and after it went woke, the product has gotten cheaper, the product has gotten better, customers are happier. Is there any such success story? Any at all? Right? So if there isn't, then I don't see why I should support it. So I'm actually happy that the aesthetics are the way they are. They always pick on the women. They don't pick on the men, which causes immersion breaking as well. Again, this is due to the aesthetics. Like, if the men were butt ugly, if you had like incels in video games, they had like pimples, they look like slobs that live in their parents' basement, and the women look the way they are, you know, like it can be like immersion appealing because it's like, well, you know, they couldn't get any woman except this one. But they don't do that. So the men look like 10 out of 10 husbandos, but the women are incredibly ugly. So I even told you guys this in the previous video, but my wife was watching Wheel of Time, and she noticed that all the women there, which in the book are supposed to be amazingly beautiful, all the women there were the age of 45 something, really plain, ugly looking, the type of aunt that you would find at the grocery store, and all the men were peak physical beauty, Greek statues. And she was like, well, why would these men put up with these women? And not only that, but like their personality is rotten as well, because, you know, if they were wholesome, if they were somewhat charismatic, maybe you'd give it a pass. You'd say, well, you know, like he's not interested in looks, like he's one of 1 million men, he just doesn't care about looks. But no, the personality in most of these woke productions for the female characters is incredibly toxic, disgusting, vile. I think you can describe it as toxic masculinity, but without any of the positives, right? So immersion breaking, and it does push people away. The aesthetics are just awful. I mean, the French Olympics as well, right? It's aesthetically unpleasing, and it's by design. Like, they actually want people to not like it. So yeah, when it comes to real life, the worst trope is can't be racist towards any type of people. I don't care what the reasoning is. And the fiction is the aesthetics, 100%. But hey, you know, let me know what you guys think. And as usual, if you want to support the channel, there's a link into the pinned comment section. We'll take you over to my Subscribe Star, where you will get the best buyer's remorse on the internet, guaranteed.